Morning everyone. Right, today's job is to finish off on this inner wing. So it's get it all ground down on the inside and then do the reverse welds on the underside where all the panels meet. So it all needs a good clean up and those welds tidying up, and where there's like little pinholes and things that needs to be fixed. Then ideally, I'd get to the stage of sorting out the sill. And if it was a fantastic day, I'd get a coat of primer on it, but I'm not sure I'm going to have enough time for that. I'd really sort of like to, though, because there's no protection on it at all at the moment. So, yeah, I think the first thing is fire up the grinder and get a good go on the welds and clean everything up, ready for the next batch of welding. If I could get all this welded in today, I think I'd be happy. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so a little bit of grinding and welding back. We've got everything all zipped in now. Patches are in there. Everything's welded on the rear. Doesn't look amazing, but as you can see, we've got really nice penetration with it. So, you know, it's all nice and strong. It's coming right through on both sides. So that's double skinned with decent penetration on each side. So I'm happy with that. Next thing is this triangle, this reinforcing triangle. So I'll get that lined up and we'll just zip that on. And then all of this lot is nearly ready for a coat of primer. I really want to get a coat of primer on it because it had started to get some surface rust, which I had to rub off of it just in the week sitting here. It's amazing how metal, as soon as it's been heated, seems to attract it. So the other thing I need to just put on is the battery tray. And I've actually bought a universal battery tray, which I'm hoping is going to fit, which I'll show in a bit. Rather than reuse the old one, you can just buy sort of universal ones with clamps on. And if that will fit in the same place and spot weld in, then so much the better. I'm just going to coat this back here I'm going to actually put a little bit of seam sealer around all these welds, and I'm going to coat it all in weld through primer and coat the back of the triangle in weld through primer as well before I zip it on. And also here where the two sides of the, you know, where this and the battery tray are going to touch, I'll give it the same weld through primer treatment. And then we'll cover the whole lot in 2-pack. 2-pack epoxy primer to give it some protection. The other thing I need to look into as well is that sill before I start waving paint around. Okay, so that's that reinforcing piece put on. It's all plug welded into that box section that I've built on the back. There is seam sealer inside there. There's weld through primer inside there, which is why these welds look a bit rubbish, because it really seems that painting weld over weld through primer makes it very spattery. But it's in there, it's got good penetration, it's strong. I'm happy with that. The next thing I'm going to do, after I've had a cup of tea, is I'm going to investigate down here. And I'll put you on time lapse for the grinding out of that so we can see together what horror awaits me down there, because I think this lot is now under control. This is easy. This also is easy. That's the unknown. So let's do that bit next and see where it takes us. I cleaned it up and we seem to have some good news and bad news. Bad news, obviously, is that there's more of it than I thought there was. But I'm not sure if you can really count that as bad news because that's standard. The good news is that the B post or the A post looks really solid, and so does the inner sill. So it's only the outside skin, and it's gone here on the floor pan. That looks really easy to fix. This, I think, probably not too difficult, particularly with the new tool I've bought. Let's just see if that is going to uncover a little bit more. That was fine, that was just surface. So yeah, let's cut this out so we can see what's going on, and then it's a case of make a patch to fit. Which is going to be fun. It will certainly be more metalwork, or more complex metalwork than I've done since 1988 and Mr. Grand's metalwork class at school. Yeah, that's a really good nick in there. I think that's known as caught it just in time. Right, let's do some metal fabricating. So effectively what we've got here is a plate that goes over there and bends down in there with a kink in it, and then it's got a step there. Then we've got another plate that comes down here, but probably the easiest thing to do first actually is to break out the new tool, because if I make a piece with a right angle bend in it, I can then use the stretcher to form that curve, and that will create me a panel that goes round here, and then all I need to do is create another one and match them up. This is definitely an opportunity to play with new tools. Might make this a feature of the videos. New tool time. Stuck for a gift for the tool junkie in your life? Watch New Tool Time and get stunning ideas. Right, let's set up the new tools. Okay, so today on New Tool Time, we've already got the folder. This little bench I've made myself, because there isn't room for a permanent workbench here. It's just a pallet with a piece of plywood on the top, but it means the gear can be screwed to it, so there's a bit of security, so it doesn't move. And it also means it can be stood up at the end of the day out of the way. So, again, courtesy of Machine Mart, there are two devices. I noticed that Machine Mart bags have this bag is not a toy on them. Of course, the thing that's inside is a big kid's toy, so I can see why they feel the need. So basically, yeah, and there's some bolt holes in the bottom, and the idea I had was to screw one on each end of the bench. So see if I've got some bolts for that, and set them up. Oh, too small. Okay, so I need to go and get the right size bolts, but I think in the meantime there is a way I can just use these, just to try out whether it works, and that's to put a large clamp on them. Should be enough for proof of concept. Idea is first of all to form that piece of sill. Okay, so that is a template of the fold on the sill. So we need to make that fold and then turn to match that template. Okay, so we need a fold approximately that much. You'll notice I haven't done anything sensible like read the instructions. It's not the way my brain works. I learn by doing. So we've got to start it turning there, and basically turn it through a right angle. Whoa. Yee. I think that might be too thick. That does not much want to do anything. Yeah, not convinced that's going to work. Okay, what are the other ways we could do it? Okay, so that's actually a reasonably good fit now for the straight part of the sill. So I think what I'm going to do is clean that up and tack it in place so that I've now got something to measure to, and then I can measure the next part, which actually will be an end cap that goes on it. And this does have to have a slight bend in it, but I think that's not up to bending it. It's certainly not without a much sturdier thing to lever against. But let's clean this up, tack this into place and see where we get. Okay, a series of relief cuts helps. Right, it's coming together down there. So what we need now is a fill-in piece. Right, let me go and tack all of this in place and we'll see what we've got left. Okay, for the last couple of hours I've been constructing that. Multiple pieces, multiple bends, but they all weld together. They've all welded to good metal, and that is a functioning end of a sill. I'm just going to have a quick go at doing something here and here. Not amazingly important, and I'll just zap the battery tray in as well if I can. Put some seam. No, I won't put some seam sealer on it. I want a 2-pack primer on there first, and then that means Saturday I can come in fresh with no welding to do, maybe a little bit of sanding to do, but then bag the car up and spray it. And spray all of that lot in 2-pack primer, and then we can start doing some interesting things, because we can start looking at the actual vehicle rather than just the rust, and rather than just welding and welding and welding, which is boring and boring to watch, I imagine. So yeah, let's have a little go at this. Quick cup of tea, build some plates up for this, and get to a stage so that Saturday morning I can come in and yeah, and get to Saturday morning, I can come in and paint, which would be great.